In 2002, a surgeon in Houston performed an operation. He opened his patient's knee, looked inside, and then sewed it back up without doing a single thing. He did this 10 times. Every patient recovered, not just a little. They reported the same reduction in pain and improvement in function as patients who had received the full, real surgery. Some of them were walking better than they had in years. The surgeon's name was J. Bruce Moseley. His study was published in the New England Journal of Medicine. It is one of the most unsettling findings in the history of modern medicine, because the patients didn't know the surgery was fake, and their bodies got better anyway. You have been told the placebo effect is a trick, a sugar pill, a mind game, something doctors use when they've run out of real options. But the real answer is far stranger. Your brain is a pharmaceutical factory, and it has been quietly manufacturing real medicine in measurable doses inside your body your entire life, every time you believed it was supposed to. Here is what nobody explains about the placebo effect. It isn't fake. The pain relief is real. The chemical changes in your body are real. The outcomes, measured in clinical trials with blood tests and brain scans and peer-reviewed data, are real. The only thing that isn't real is the cause. When you take a placebo and your pain goes away, your brain hasn't decided to ignore the pain. It has produced a measurable dose of its own pain-killing chemicals, endorphins, the exact same molecules that morphine mimics, and released them into your bloodstream. Neuroimager, Tor Wager at the University of Colorado put people with documented pain inside brain scanners, gave them placebos, and watched in real time as their brains lit up with endorphin production. The drug wasn't real. The endorphins were measurable, quantifiable, chemically identical to what a prescription would have delivered. The question is how. Neuroscientist Fabrizio Benedetti at the University of Turin has spent 30 years studying exactly this. He found that the placebo response is not random. It is a learned biological mechanism, one your nervous system has been building and refining since the first time someone gave you something that made you feel better. Every time a pill worked, every time a doctor's reassurance helped, every time a ritual of healing was followed by actual healing, your body was taking notes. So when a placebo arrives inside that same ritual, the clinical room, the white coat, the confident voice explaining your treatment, your nervous system doesn't wait to confirm whether the drug is real. It runs the program it already knows. It begins preparing to recover before the pill even dissolves. This is why the look of a placebo matters more than you'd expect. Researchers have found that two identical sugar pills don't perform equally. A red or orange pill produces stronger stimulant effects than a blue or green pill of identical composition. For placebo, pills outperform two placebo pills for the same fake substance. A pill stamped with a recognizable brand logo reduces pain more than a plain, unbranded pill with identical contents. An injection of saline solution reduces pain more effectively than a placebo pill. A placebo surgery, as Moseley proved, reduces pain more effectively than a placebo injection. The more dramatic the ritual, the deeper the brain commits. Henry Beecher, an American anesthesiologist, published the first major scientific paper on the placebo effect in 1955 after noticing something strange in field hospitals during World War II. Morphine was running dangerously low. Nurses began injecting soldiers with saline solution, telling them it was morphine. A significant number of soldiers reported relief. Some requested less of the real drug afterward. He called his paper the provocation. But here's where it gets stranger still. In the 1970s, researchers wondered what would happen if they blocked the endorphin receptors in placebo patients, giving them a drug called naloxone, which prevents the brain from using its own painkillers. The placebo effect disappeared, which confirmed something that changed how we think about medicine entirely. Placebos don't work by making you ignore pain. They work by triggering your brain's own pain-killing system, the same system that morphine accesses through a completely different door. Here is the part that most people in medicine still find difficult to accept. In 2010, Ted Kaptchuk at Harvard Medical School ran an experiment that should have failed on its own logic. He told patients they were taking placebos. He did not deceive them. He handed them a bottle clearly labeled placebo pills. He explained that the pills contained no active ingredient. He told them that research suggested placebos could still have meaningful effects through self-healing processes. Then he gave them the pills. The patients still got better. Compared to a control group that received no treatment at all, patients who knowingly took placebos reported significantly greater reduction in symptoms. The effect replicated across multiple conditions and multiple studies. You can know you're taking a sugar pill, and your body will still respond. Because the ritual is still there. The act of taking medicine, of choosing care, of showing up and doing something, that alone is enough to begin the biological cascade. The brain doesn't need the deception. It needs the signal. Now here is the part that should genuinely alarm you. The placebo effect has a mirror. Researchers call it the nocebo effect. Where placebo means I shall please, nocebo means I shall harm. If belief can heal, belief can damage. In clinical drug trials, patients given placebos regularly report the same side effects what those side effects might be. Nausea, fatigue, headaches, hair loss, reported at measurable rates. From pills containing nothing. There is a documented case from the 1970s of a man enrolled in an antidepressant trial. Believing he was in the active drug group, he took a massive overdose of his pills during a personal crisis. His blood pressure dropped. His body began to shut down. Emergency teams scrambled, and they discovered he was in the placebo group. Every pill he had taken was inert. He nearly died from an overdose of nothing. His beliefs about what was entering his body were so complete that his body began complying with them, even when the chemistry said otherwise. That is not a trick. That is biology. That is your brain directing your body with a certainty so absolute that the body obeys, whether the drug is real or not. You are walking around with this system running right now. When a familiar voice reassures you, your nervous system begins preparing to calm down before a single chemical has changed. When a ritual you associate with recovery begins, a specific drink, a routine, an environment you've healed in before, your body starts the process before you've consciously asked it to. The opposite is equally true. When an authority you trust tells you something is wrong with you, your body begins behaving as if it already is. Expected pain arrives closer to when it was predicted. Dreaded symptoms appear on a schedule that follows your beliefs more closely than your biology. This does not mean your pain is imagined. It means your pain is real, and your nervous system is one of the instruments generating it, shaped by every belief you have ever held about what your body is capable of. The placebo effect is not medicine's dirty secret. It is medicine's deepest mechanism. Every treatment that has ever worked has worked partly because you ever made has been partly authored by your brain, translating expectation into chemistry, converting belief into biology, turning ritual into actual measurable change inside your cells. The fake knee surgery worked, not because the patients were fooled, but because their bodies had already learned what recovery was supposed to feel like. And once the ritual was complete, they began producing it. In 2002, a surgeon in Houston opened his patient's knee, looked inside, sewed it back up without doing a single thing, and his patient walked better than he had in years. The surgery was fake. The recovery was not. Your brain manufactures medicine. Real, measurable, chemically precise medicine. And it has been doing this your entire life. Every time the conditions looked right, every time the ritual said it was time to heal. The placebo effect is not a trick your doctor plays on you. It is proof of what your body was already capable of before anyone handed it anything at all.